let's talk about the new Taylor Swift album because I'm so excited. Okay. Hi guys, my name is Allie if you are new here. So sorry if you can hear the washer dryer. It is so annoying and it never shuts up. But this was the only place I could hang up my really cute Showgirl Vegas, you know, glitz and glamour curtain that I thought would be perfect to talk about the life of a showgirl, which was announced last week. And I've been dying to talk about it. And this couldn't come at a better time. Me and all my friends were joking, like, as it was being announced, that, like, Taylor must have known, like, that the girlies were like crashing out right now and we needed something, and I'm so excited to talk about it. I've never done a video like this where I've just talked about something I'm excited about for like a fandom I'm a part of, and I am a die-hard Swiftie. I love Taylor, and so I wanted to start doing more videos like this. We're gonna talk all things Taylor and her upcoming album, The Life of a Showgirl. So let's just get into it. I'm very quickly gonna touch on the podcast for when it was first announced, like the rumor that she might be the guest on the podcast. I was like, okay, they tease that all the time. But the one thing that kind of like solidified it for me before it was revealed like that it was true was that Jason Kelce was definitely like staring like at the screen, like you in the thumbnail. Like he was like looking how I'm looking at the screen, you know? But Travis Kelce was looking off to the side, like someone was sitting next to him. And I was like, who else would be in that house? Like, I know everyone had like, you know, figured out the silhouette and like they saw like the outline of her bangs, like all that. And I did, like once I saw that, I was like, okay, that just makes it more exciting and makes me think that it's happening. But Travis Kelce looking off to the side was the thing that like really solidified it for me. And I just loved the entire podcast. Like I was not expecting it to be 2 hours long by any means. I thought maybe Taylor was going to be in like a segment and announce her album and then, you know, they'd go on doing the rest of their show. But I really loved that it was like 2 hours and she was talking about, of course she talked about the album last, but before that she was talking about, you know, how her relationship with Travis became a thing, like things that was going on with her family over this past summer, or like all these different things that were really behind the scenes of her persona and her stage presence that everyone sees her do. So I also, as I started to think about it, I was like, this is very much giving the life of a showgirl. That's what I wanted to talk about. I think like the life of a showgirl is going to be more about what life is like once she takes off a beaded bodysuit, walks off the Eras Tour stage, and what her life was like after that. She even said like the album cover is supposed to kind of be a really glamorous version of like her getting in her bath to like decompress after the shows, which I love that because she could have so easily just called it like Showgirl and that was about the tour and like being the performer that she is, but this is going to be about the life of the showgirl, which is really, really cool, and I'm so excited. I'm gonna break down the track list in a little while, but I also just want to talk about the overall like aesthetic of the whole thing. I'm obsessed with it. Like, okay, I have my iPad to do notes because I'm a total dork. I'm gonna insert these, but I need something to look at while I talk about it. This photo of her in the like mirrored room that's very like peachy. A lot of people think it's the same room from Don't Worry Darling when Florence Pugh is in that really cool like mirrored room, and I think Olivia Wilde's in that scene. There's a rumor that it might be the same room, which is really cool. Yeah, this photo is just so cool. A lot of people are saying the dark hair might also be, you know, a tie to Elizabeth Taylor, which is one of the track names. Oh, it made me think of Wildest Dreams when she's playing very much this old-time Hollywood starlet and she's got the dark hair, which like I wonder if even back then she wanted to kind of be like this Elizabeth Taylor vibe. Sometimes I would say that Midnights, because Midnights is one of my favorite albums, Midnights is kind of like 1989, like grew up. Like we're revisiting 1989 10 years later is how I always thought about it. So this would be really fun if it's, you know, it's supposed to kind of be the same like starlet we met in Wildest Dreams and now she's grown up and, you know, she's in this cool like showgirl get up. But that's just me like fantasizing about like, you know, the grandeur of it all, but like I just think that's cool. Yeah, the overall aesthetic of this is so cool. You can see how like it looks very much like Eras Tour, you know, the glittery bodysuits and everything. But one thing that I think is really cool is like it seems like the showgirl clues have been there for so long. Like, again, I'm mentioning the 1989, the dark hair bob, Wildest Dreams. But also, like, if you go back to, there's a specific outfit in the Look What You Made Me Do music video, that like beautiful beaded one that she kind of recreated when she announced Midnights a couple years ago. Like, that one is very Showgirl-esque to me. And then, I mean, obviously the Showgirl part of Midnight's era when she did the Bejeweled music video, that whole music video is very Showgirl-esque, but like the actual scene where she's performing with the Showgirl and she's in that beautiful white outfit, like this was in front of us the whole time and we just did not notice. I love when it's like, oh, it's been there all along. Like, the clues have been there. If I had to break down like my favorite look that she's released so far for this era, it has to be the back of the vinyl cover. Like, that photo is so cool. Like, I almost thought that could have been like the cover, but I'm gonna get into the album cover and all that, but like, oh my gosh, like, I have it on my iPad right now. Like, this is so cool. And I'm just so obsessed. Like, that is the perfect photo, I think, to sum up like the aesthetic that I'm thinking we're gonna get. I don't know if she's gonna do a lot of press for it or if she's gonna do a lot of music videos, but I really am excited if she like leans into this old time glitz and glamour. Or I think she could do so many different eras of Showgirls. Like, one thing that I thought would be really cool is if she kind of implemented like the Sonny and Cher aesthetic, like when Cher would wear those beautiful like bejeweled outfits on her like variety show. Or, you know, then she goes even more back in time, like with Elizabeth Taylor, or just like really fun stuff like that. I'm excited for all the different eras of Showgirls we might get to see, whether it's through posters, album variants, music videos. Like, I am just so excited. I would really love like a Sonny and Cher reference. Like, she wears something really cool that like Cher's worn, even if it was like archival, like that'd be so cool. So hoping for that. And then music videos, oh my god, these music videos are gonna be stunning, I have a feeling. Now, a lot of people are like split on the album cover, like the one that she showed on New Heights. Like I said, I think this is my favorite photo that's been released of all the different photos so far for the album and for the aesthetic of the album, because like this is like so clearly a Showgirl. But as I think about it, like, the one she chose for the cover makes so much sense because she said this is what the life of the Showgirl is after the performance. And so yeah, of course, like, she's gonna be, you know, decompressing, maybe taking a bath, or, you know, getting rid of that part of her life and just becoming like everyday Taylor, if that makes sense. So I think that makes sense for why that's the vinyl cover. I just can't wait as we get more photos because, you know, there's probably so many. And speaking of photos, Taylor confirmed that the same photographer she used for Reputation is who she used for this album's photo shoots. And it's so evident in the CD variant cover that she released. And first of all, the green is kind of giving like that Reputation snake green. I mean, that's the exact same photo. Like, those are the same. The photos for the Reputation album or that era were just so cool and aesthetic, and they're like their own thing in their own world compared to other album photo shoots and stuff. I'd also argue that Midnights might be my favorite photo shoot ever. I loved the Midnights aesthetic, but that's a whole other video. But I think that bringing that aesthetic back for this is so cool because that was also one of the albums where she was falling in love, and we all know that she's falling in love, or well, is very much in love. First of all, I could do a whole other video just talking about how in love she and Travis are. It was so stinking cute, and like, he is such a fangirl of her, and I loved, you could tell he knows everything about this album. He knows probably Easter eggs as she was saying them when no one else would, and you could just see like he was like the SpongeBob meme where he's like like wanting to like say everything he knew. So I just love that. I love that he hypes her up like that. She also revealed that this won't be a Jack Antonoff album. I'm not one of the people who's a Jack Antonoff hater. That is not tolerated here. A lot of her albums since forever at this point have had Jack Antonoff like as a producer, and this is the first one in a long time where he's not involved at all, which I don't think, like, some people were like, oh my god, like he must be so annoyed. No, like, this is a normal thing. Like, producers work with a bunch of different people and they're not involved in every single thing, so like, it's fine. But she has Max Martin and Shellback back on this one, which they worked on Reputation with her, and they did 1989 songs. So like this is just gonna be such a fun, I think, refresh of music from Taylor. One thing that was so exciting to me, because I love Taylor's lyricism, I love how she can tell a story in her lyrics. She mentioned on the podcast that like when she met with Max Martin and them, she was like, oh, like, or they said to her, like, we loved the storytelling you had in Folklore and Evermore, and we would hate for you to abandon that to make a more like pop heavy album. And she was like, I don't think I could get rid of that even if I tried. And so I'm just so excited, because like the way Taylor and Travis were describing this album, it's banger after banger, it's all pop, like, you know, that upbeat vibe. But I'm not gonna be surprised if the lyrics are gonna be like, you know, they're gonna be like really catchy, but they're gonna make you think, and they might hurt your feelings, or they might like blow your mind. So kind of like I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, like, you know, like it was this upbeat song that, you know, you could dance to or whatever, but it's still like, once you sit and listen to the lyrics, you're like, oh damn, she's still telling a full story about this heartbreaking time in her life. So I'm so excited for that. Like, I genuinely can't wait. Then next I wanted to get into, she said this is 12 songs. 12 songs, that's it. I believe that. Like at first, obviously I was clowning and I was like, oh my god, there's gonna be a million different songs. Like, do I think there might be a deluxe version that we'll get someday? Yes. Because I feel like that's typical with album rollouts, you know? Like Olivia Rodrigo, like she released like Guts Deluxe months after, or Sabrina Carpenter did that with Short and Sweet, you know? So I think eventually there will be these from the vault like released deluxe songs, but I do believe that it's 12 songs. Everyone's thinking it's a double album, and as I started thinking more about it, I was like, guys, I think if she keeps doing double albums, that's gonna become the norm, and that's a lot to ask of her. So like, because Midnights, in my opinion, was really a double album, because like, yeah, they were deluxe songs, but she released them the very same night, and then she kept rolling out more songs, to where now Midnights in its entirety is this really huge album. And then the same with Tortured Poets. We have Tortured Poets and then the anthology, that's like, what, I think 31 songs? Like, 12 songs is still a lot of songs. She said she did 12 songs because these 12 songs were meant to be together. You can't take one out without it messing up the vibe of the album. So I think that's very deliberate. But I very much believe it's 12 songs. 12 songs are gonna get released on October 3rd, and we don't have to brace for more songs right then. I don't know, I could be totally wrong. She could be lying to us, but like, that's what I believe. So I pulled up the track list, and I want to talk about just the names of the songs, my prediction for what they might be, and then I thought it'd be fun to guess maybe what would get a music video, because I hope we get a lot of music videos for this one. We had, for Tortured Poets, we had Fortnite, and I just love a directed by Taylor music video, and I really hope we get that. Side note, also, the paparazzi photos of Taylor years ago at this point, meeting with Greta Gerwig for dinner, haunt my dreams. I want one day, like if Taylor decides to not direct one of her music videos for whatever reason, or wants a co-director, I need it to be Greta Gerwig. That would maybe actually make me cease to exist. I wouldn't know how to compute. I'd be like, it'd be too beautiful to function for me. But every single, like, I think she did that maybe at the very beginning of Tortured Poets department. I can't remember, but like, every single time there's like rumors of a music video being filmed, I'm like, it's the one Greta Gerwig's gonna direct. It's gonna be that one. And like, they honestly, I think, are just friends. Like, they could have just been going to dinner, but in my head, they were planning something. They were planning something, and I've been waiting to know. So anyway, that's like my outlandish prediction, is Greta Gerwig's gonna direct a Taylor Swift music video one day, and it'd be really fun if it's the life of the Showgirl. So I don't know, we'll see, we'll see. Just putting it out there. Okay, anyway, let's get into all the different tracks, names, and predictions, Easter eggs. Let's get into it. The first one is The Fate of Ophelia. When I first heard that, I remember I was like, I know who Ophelia is. I know she's a Shakespearean character, but like, I needed a refresher. Ophelia is the love interest Hamlet in Shakespeare's Hamlet, obviously. And she is very, in some, she's more like known as being the naive, you know, girl. And I think her, like, the iconic line that came from Ophelia is the whole like woe is me thing. So like she's very like seen as this naive, helpless girl, and she ends up dying in the story. She drowns. Also, I think the themes for Ophelia in Shakespeare, where she was very much controlled by the men in her life or societal expectations of her, and so I think that is a very interesting thing for Taylor to draw on for a song, and that made me appreciate the album cover a lot more, because like if you've seen the photo of Ophelia that's really famous, or like the painting of her in the creek, it's pretty similar to where it's like all the waters like surrounded her except like right here. So I think that is definitely also intentional. I think that's a very big reason why Taylor chose this album cover other than like the whole like it's the aesthetic of what happens after the shows, like what my life, like my personal life was like. Genuinely, I don't know what to expect. It's gonna be so interesting because when you name a song The Fate of Ophelia, that sounds like it's gonna be like gut-wrenching, like so sad, hurt my feelings, but then they said that every single song is a banger. So I'm just like, my brain's having a hard time computing it, and I'm so excited. Like, I am just so excited for the listening parties for this. I think The Fate of Ophelia is going to be more about her dealing with the expectations of society, of how men view her, maybe being overwhelmed by just all this influence and fame she has, but then she's always seen as this woe is me, writing songs about her breakups. Like, you know, the stereotypical things that mostly men always have to say about Taylor Swift. So that's my prediction for now. I have a fun story for this one. The next one on the track list is Elizabeth Taylor. If you don't know who Elizabeth Taylor is, she is a old Hollywood starlet. I said that the Wildest Dreams hairdo, and then the hairdo in some of the photos for Life of a Showgirl when Taylor has the really short black hair bob, that's very much Elizabeth Taylor's vibe. Okay, I did a quick Google search, but she was known for playing Cleopatra. One thing that sticks out to me is she was also known for Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which, like, I think it's probably just a coincidence. I don't know, maybe nothing's a coincidence, but Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf makes me think of Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. And beyond that, Taylor was a pioneering businesswoman and passionate activist, particularly for AIDS awareness and research. She was a leading lady of the 1950s, won 2 Academy Awards, one of the greatest female screen legends according to American Film Institute. So she was very much like an it girl of her time, and used her voice to try and be an activist, which sounds a lot like Taylor Swift. Since I don't know a lot about Elizabeth Taylor's history other than a very brief overview that I just gave, my general prediction is it's gonna be kind of like a Lucky One vibe, a Clara Bow vibe, even maybe like a, you know, Rebecca Harkness with The Last Great American Dynasty. I think Taylor likes to make sense of her own fame through maybe women who came before her's fame sometimes, and so I think it's definitely going to be that kind of vibe. There's also that Easter egg where Kelly Teller, one of her like really close friends, gifted her a ring couple years ago, maybe last year, and in the video that she had like showing off the ring, Taylor said it was very like, it was a gift that seems fit for Elizabeth Taylor. So like, I wonder if the song was already written at that point and that was an Easter egg. But what's so funny is my friend Kaylee, we were all like in our group chat trying to figure out like, oh my god, like what's the announcement? This was before it was confirmed that Taylor was going on New Heights or anything like that. And just offhandedly, as all the madness was going and we were like theorizing in our big group chat of all the girls, Kaylee was like, okay, I know this isn't about Taylor, but guys, I've been watching this documentary about Elizabeth Taylor and her life was so interesting, y'all should check it out. And it was so unwarranted. Like, it was just, she happened to be watching it. We knew nothing about the track list. No semblance of an album was in our head yet. Like, it was like just the silhouette of who's that on this podcast announcement. So anyway, then when unfortunately we saw the leak, because it showed up on our For You page, of the album, we both saw that track 2 is called Elizabeth Taylor, and we were like, if this is real, and we were talking about Elizabeth Taylor so like randomly earlier today, like that's kind of creepy. And like, as her marketing got into where it's in our heads, like the marketing goes crazy. I really love this whole, you know, like I said, maybe it's her making sense of her life or being able to relate to other famous like icons, like with Clara Bow and now with Elizabeth Taylor, and like Stevie Nicks, obviously. Like Stevie Nicks is mentioned in Clara Bow, like all these different eras. She's like, you know, mentions these women, and when you start to listen to their stories, like they very much probably went through a lot of things she goes through in her life. I think that's a really cool trend if she were to keep doing that. Like if she, like, every album has like a, oh, there's Clara Bow is who I kind of see myself in, or now I kind of see part of myself in Elizabeth Taylor, or maybe one day I'll be like Grace Kelly. If she does one about Audrey Hepburn, check on me. Like half my room's decorations are Audrey Hepburn. I love Audrey Hepburn movies. Like, oh my god, if that happens, cut the cameras. I'm gonna be done for. I also, like, it's a stretch, but later on, track 9 is called Wood. One of the first things I thought of was Natalie Wood, who is another very famous starlet who had ups and downs in her career and tumultuous relationships. I was like, what if it's Natalie Wood and she just didn't want to call it that? I don't know, because everyone's like really like off-put by the name just being Wood. They're like, what is that supposed to mean? I'm kind of wondering if it's Natalie Wood. That's my prediction. But anyway, going back in order, I think Elizabeth Taylor is going to be very much like a Lucky One, Last Great American Dynasty, Clara Bow vibe. Track 3 is called Opalite. I had no idea what this was. I had to look it up. And I'm gonna look it up again just to confirm. Opalite is a man-made iridescent glass that is often mistaken for natural opal or moonstone. Is it a birthstone? It's often associated with October. And I believe Travis Kelce's birthday is in October, so. And this comes out in October. I'm guessing it's a love song. Guys, I'm gonna observe it in person for sure, but every time Taylor steps out in an outfit and is wearing a certain piece of jewelry, I never think anything of it. Like, never. It doesn't cross my mind. It's just something I don't initially notice, but there are Swifties out there that will notice everything, which I'm amazed by. Like, there was some that noticed when Travis, it was either when he won the Super Bowl or when they won the championship and were going to the Super Bowl. When Taylor went out on the field, she had opalite earrings on. And I was like, how the hell did you even notice those? I did not even notice she was wearing those. Like, but of course it probably was intentional, and it blows my mind. So I'm gonna guess that Opalite is probably a love song about Travis, since it's associated with October, and I'm pretty sure Travis Kelce's birthday is in October. Let me see. October 5th, yeah. So I think will be a love song about Travis. I also liked that it was called It's a Moonstone because, you know, in Bejeweled they go, some guy said my aura is moonstone. So I think that's really interesting. But that's my overall guess. I think there are gonna be love songs on this. I think it's gonna be like Reputation, where it's like inadvertently a love album, you know, even though that's not what it was marketed as. I have a feeling a lot of that's gonna play into this as well. Track 4 is called Father Figure. This one, my mind's all over the place. The first thing I initially thought of was the George Michael song that's trending because of the Nicole Kidman movie, like the I will be your father figure, that one. Like, that's what I initially thought of, but I think it's just because it's become like TikTok brain rot at this point for me. It's like everywhere. There's theories that maybe she's gonna sample Father Figure in it, you know, like how, you know, a lot of artists will sample a song into it. I could definitely see that. Other people are gonna say maybe it's like more of a sad song, like about father figures, but like, I don't know. That one I'm really kind of dumbfounded about. I think if anything, my guess is maybe she will sample Father Figure. That's kind of cool, but like I don't have many thoughts about that one yet. Historically, track 5 is what she picks to be the most gut-wrenching, lyric-wise, energy-wise song. Like The Archer, You're on Your Own, Kid. Oh god, what was it on Tortured Poets? I'm pretty sure it was So Long London, right? So the track 5 on this one's called Eldest Daughter. I'm scared. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Are you targeting the eldest daughters, Taylor? Track 6 is called Ruin the Friendship. There's a lot of things I think that could be about. And the first thing that came to my head was like, you know, the idea of like when you're falling in love with a friend and you don't want to ruin the friendship by like going to that next level, you know, that's what I thought of. But then I was like, that doesn't really make sense for if this was to be about like her and Travis, maybe. Like, that doesn't make much sense to me because as far as we know, they started out with the intention of hopefully dating one another. It wasn't a friendship thing. I genuinely don't know. I think it's, if I had to guess a vibe it might be like, this is why we can't have nice things, maybe. I don't know if it's gonna be about a specific person. I would maybe almost say maybe it's more like her evaluating who in her life are friends for the right reasons and who in her life are friends for the showgirl part of it, you know? I think that could be interesting. Track 7 is called Actually Romantic. This was me when I was watching the New Heights podcast episode with her, there was like a 2-minute span where she kept saying actually every time. And I think it was, I'd have to go back and look, but don't quote me on this, but I think it was in regards to her talking about Travis. It was like, oh, this was actually cool, or this was actually something. And I was like, why does she keep saying actually? Because this is at this point, the track list had been posted or leaked and all that, so I knew that was a track name, unfortunately, because of the leak. But yeah, so I don't know, I have a feeling that's about her relationship with Travis, and I think it'd be funny if it's like, oh, he like totally didn't seem like someone who matches my vibe, but like it's actually really romantic. Like that'd be kind of funny. Or maybe it's like the Tortured Poets department proved she was going through it like to where I think almost it seemed like she was like, I'm done, like I'm done with all this love life stuff, and then Travis came and everything was actually romantic again. I could so see something like that. So I have a feeling that one's definitely about Travis. Even they were saying stuff, and I remember Jason Kelsey, like under his breath, like into the microphone, was like, well, I wonder who that's about. So I have a feeling that's gonna maybe be a love song. If this whole album is kind of the vibe of So High School, I'm so excited because I loved So High School from the beginning and I'm so pumped. Track 8 is called Wish List. The way that I had the dollar signs though made me think of 7 Rings by Ariana Grande. Just like that aesthetic, like I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it, you know? But I was watching Chats and Reacts, which they are like the Bible for listening to anything Taylor Swift, and they had the idea that what if it's about her getting her master's back? Because in the podcast, one of the things she talked about at length was when she realized she was able to buy her master's back, and her brother and her mom going into those meetings to get it back, and how she saved up since she was a kid or like a teenager to buy her master's, and it's the most money she's ever spent on anything. And then 12 weeks before she announced the 12th album is when she announced she got her master's back. So I think a lot of things line up to where that makes sense. Like maybe her biggest thing on her wish list was having the money to buy her master's back, and maybe this would be something kind of like, he's got my past frozen behind glass, but I've got me. Like this would be so cool if it's like the alternate side of that, and now she's got it all back. So I really like that theory, that maybe wish list is about that. But I'd also like to add that like if we had to go into like a vibe of what everything's gonna sound like, when I first heard wish list also, like I thought of Ariana Grande's 7 Rings, but I also thought of money, 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 must be funny, like from like ABBA, but I thought of the Meryl Streep version, obviously. So I thought that'd be like a really, if it kind of sounds like that, that'd just be fun. Or like if that's an overall vibe of what some of these songs sound like, oh god, I'd love it. And then Wood is the name of track 9. That's like just such a random name. Like I'm having a hard time. The first thing when I like started to really think hard about it was the Natalie Wood thing, because I think that'd be really cool. But like then I wonder like why didn't she just call it Natalie Wood? Maybe because she already named one after Elizabeth Taylor. But even with like, if we go back to Clara Bow, the song was called Clara Bow, but she talked about herself at the end of it, and she snuck in another famous it girl of, you know, known for her fame and her talent, Stevie Nicks, but she doesn't have a song called Stevie Nicks. So I think there's something, maybe it could be about Natalie Wood, I don't know. And if you look up Natalie Wood's story, her life very much was in the throes of like early Hollywood, and you know, had very tumultuous relationships, and she died unfortunately in a very horrific way that's kind of a mystery. So if something was about Natalie Wood, I think that'd be kind of interesting, and maybe she's like subtly trying to hint at it by not calling it Natalie Wood. But anyway, also like just this has no evidence whatsoever, it's just fun to talk about. If you're on TikTok, so many people think that Taylor looks a lot like Lorelai Gilmore, like Lauren Graham, and that Lorelai and Taylor are kind of the same person. And in Gilmore Girls, the like seamstress that sometimes comes over, every time she talks to Lorelai and Rory, she compares, I think, Lorelai, yeah, to Natalie Wood, and everyone's like, oh, Taylor and Lorelai are the same person. So that's just kind of funny. If it were to be about Natalie Wood, like they'd be like, oh my god, the marketing was crazy, and that show was made when like Taylor was like what, like 12 years old. Number 10 is Cancelled with a exclamation point. It's given the same vibe as everyone was thinking like Slut was gonna sound like on 1989. So I think Cancelled is gonna be about when she was canceled in the rep era, like all that. I don't know. It could also maybe be about like, because one thing that was so evident in the past couple of years of Taylor is how much hate she would get for going to her boyfriend's football games, like God forbid, by male audiences. So maybe it's something with that and how she's just letting it roll off her back or something. Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe it's like she's reached this point where she just feels untouchable, like whenever someone tries to cancel her, it just rolls off her back. I don't know. The exclamation point makes me think it's like she's making fun of the cancel culture of it all. And then 11 is Honey. I also thought of Honey, Honey, how he thrills me, but I also thought of Karma, like sweet like honey. I don't know. There's a lot of these where I'm like, guys, I don't know. I need time to really think about it. But yeah, I could see that being a love song. I could really see that being a love song, or maybe like life's just feeling more sweet like honey, because she also said in the New Heights podcast that life's just more upbeat these days. So maybe it's something like that. If it sounds like Honey Honey though, oh my god, or if it's like Honey Honey sampled, like check on me, I will lose my mind. And then number 12, which is so fun, it is The Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter. And I'm so excited. Like, I am so excited. Like, who would, like, can you imagine like going back in time and telling little Sabrina Carpenter that she was gonna get to be on a Taylor Swift album after touring with Taylor, and like she's at the height of like her career's just skyrocketed and now she's being featured on a Taylor Swift song? Like, that's insane. The title track of a Taylor Swift song, like, oh my god. I am so excited for this. I don't know what to expect. I hope it's like Sabrina has verses. I hope it's not like she's just like a backing track, you know? Like, I don't want a repeat of like the more Lana Del Rey version. I feel like Sabrina, if you're getting Sabrina, she's gonna have her moments though. Sabrina Carpenter's like really leaned into this whole like old-timey showgirl aesthetic to begin with in her more recent tours and albums and all that, to where I think this is the perfect album for her to be featured on. I'm dying to know if she helped co-write the song. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet, but like that'd be so cool if she was. I do think that one will be a music video though, easily. The Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter. I think it's gonna be very grandeur and super, like this huge spectacle. If my Greta Gerwig dream ever comes true, that'd be a really fun one for her to direct, but I don't know. But oh, that's another thing. Okay, I had this fun idea where like if it's supposed to kind of sound like 1989's vibe, this album, I mean, everyone knows how iconic the 1989 music videos were. Like Bad Blood, it had so many of Taylor's close friends. It had Gigi Hadid, it had Cara Delevingne, Selena Gomez. I was thinking, I was like, okay, like if she's doing like this whole Life of a Showgirl thing, it'd be so fun if there was a music video, whether it's for The Life of a Showgirl or maybe she somehow fits it into one of these other songs, where all her famous friends who also relate to this idea of being like having the showgirl part of their lives and then like their personal life were in it, like whether they're all dressed as like these amazing like Vegas showgirls or whatever. Like that'd be so cool. Like Gracie Abrams, Selena Gomez again, Sabrina Carpenter, you know, just having all these women who are like these showgirls right now in a music video, I think would be really cool. So that's just like a fun outlandish theory where that has no concrete evidence to it by me, but I think that's really all I had to say about The Life of a Showgirl. Obviously, I am so excited. I want to do a watch party and I want to go like all out for the watch party. I want to get like gemstones and do fun makeup and like have like that showgirl look to my face like for it. I just can't believe she was able to write and record and produce a whole new album while she was on the biggest tour of all time. Like, insane. Like, when does the woman sleep? I don't know. I really enjoyed doing this. I think it's fun to just talk about things that I enjoy and that like I like to talk about with people and find my own little community about it. So let me know if you enjoyed this, because I would love to do more of these, or maybe like when the album comes out I'll do like an album breakdown. That could be so much fun. But I also think I'm gonna do these for like more things that I find fun, like whether it's movies or TV shows, other artists. Let me know. I can't wait for The Life of a Showgirl, and until then, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye!